Okay, so folks, what I have for you today is very complicated. It's a spring. That's it. So I work with this little boy. He's about 9 years old. His name's Braden Candy, and he has cerebral palsy. He weighs about 80 pounds. Half of his weight he has to carry on the walker. He can carry about half of his weight with his legs, so that's 40 pounds on the walker, 40 pounds on his feet. That works great. When he's on a smooth surface, the walker is wonderful. It helps him out. Glides along supporting half of him. He gets off of that smooth surface, snow, grass, gravel, playground surfaces, and it's like pushing a shopping cart through the slush and ice in the middle of the winter. So we take somebody with reduced mobility and we give them more difficulty. It's a really bad idea. What people usually do is they try to solve this problem by putting larger wheels on the front. The idea is you'll go over the bumps easier. The problem is he only has 3.5 pounds of forward force. So to go over a 1 or 2 inch bump, the wheel would have to be this big. We actually tested it. It made no difference to go from this to that. Anything much bigger than 14 inches is not practical. So we started to think a little bit more about what does he have? Well, when you and I walk forward, we don't have to work very hard. We just have to swing our legs. When he gets into the slush, he's also got to push. You're not even very good at that height, especially if you try to keep a good posture. But we have a lot of strength in the largest muscles in our body. So we put a spring in the wheel. You take out one screw, the standard wheel is replaced with ours. Inside here is a linear spring. The cable comes up here. We'll put a fancy stirrup on it. So if he wants to, as he walks his foot, the normal path doesn't wind up anything in the spring. So he just walks and it doesn't do anything. We can change it so that it winds up a little bit if he wants to. But when he gets to something that's difficult, he just steps up and down a few times, and the walker drives itself. That's it. This is to demonstrate that none of you are qualified to do any of this maker work. Last time I used a spring, this time I'm going to use a switch. You don't have the skills necessary to do this. So I visited Brayden, this little boy, the other day in physical therapy, and I realized physical therapy is boring. It's really boring. And I tell people this, and they immediately tell me their stories of how boring their physical therapy is and how they should be doing this and they should be doing that, and nobody does it. So there's this little device called a Makey. I don't know, 20 bucks. I don't know what a Makey costs these days. A Makey. On this end, it looks just like a keyboard. That's because when you plug it into your computer, it mimics a keyboard. But instead of keystrokes, you connect spots on here. So I can do the equivalent of up arrows, down arrows, keystrokes, clicks, W, A, S, D, F, and G, and there's probably more. So all I did was I took this and I plugged it into a Raspberry Pi, which I left over on the table. Under games, there's 2 choices. I selected Minecraft. That was very hard. So first of all, you have to have switches, and you have to be able to select Minecraft. Okay? Then I took these alligator clips way beyond your ability. I'm telling you, you can't do this stuff. And I took this alligator clip and I connected it there. And I took this one and I connected it to the click. Okay? So now the same thing that the center click on my mouse, which is hacking at things in Minecraft, happens when you hit this button. So the other one, I click this other alligator clip here. Not a crocodile clip. You really aren't qualified if you can't tell the difference. Okay? And this button goes forward. So now Brayden can play Minecraft with his brother or his friends. Social isolation, we have reduced mobility, is also a big problem. So he invites friends over. Now he can play Minecraft. He shoots the chickens, hacks at the rocks, stabs at things, moves forward. They drive the rest on an adjacent keyboard. We can go to his physical therapist at any exercise. This is 2 mic stands. And I made these out of 2x4s. You probably don't know what that is. Okay? You probably don't have the skills. It includes like woodworking and a drill. Okay? And these are wing nuts. I know, sorry, real technical. I can have a glossary on my website. If this is too easy, we do this really high-tech thing. It's called a TheraBand. We put this around his leg, so now he has to stretch when he does this. My friends over at GameStop Start School tell me that you can even record the number of times that he does all of these exercises and tell his physical therapist. We could probably like put it in the cloud and his physical therapist could give him a thumbs up. But it's beyond you. Leave it to the experts. Okay, so this one requires needle and thread, so you probably can't do it either. Working with Brayden, again, he had this surgery that gave a little bit of reduction in muscle tone in his upper body as a side effect of a positive side effect. He can straighten his right arm out, but he can't get past here. Now, the normal options that PT has to offer is they can put him in a cast that sort of stretches his arm out. Now that means, he self-care, he can't change his own clothes, he can't get a good night's rest, so of course they don't wear it. Pretty reasonable. And even so, the PTs aren't real thrilled by it either because it doesn't actually strengthen these muscles, it just does something to stretch these muscles and tendons. What they would really like him to do is to do these exercises and try to reach for the brass ring or to pick the apple many times during the week for 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So these little accelerometers, which are roughly equivalent to what we had in inertial navigation in World War II, now are the size, well, they're tiny, and they cost a grand total of $3.08 on the circuit board. So I wired 2 of them together. They have 3 gyroscopes and 3 accelerometers, so they know where they are with respect to the center of the Earth, gravity, and they know how fast they're moving. Okay? So if I know where I am, and I know these 2 positions, then I can calculate the angle between my forearm and my upper arm. So we put a little display on it and make a game out of it. Periodically throughout the day, it challenges him to reach for the brass ring or to reach for the apple, and it can have a cute little display, an encouraging display, sounds on here, and it goes, reach, 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 yay, you succeeded. Bluetooth connected directly to his cell phone or his tablet. Every time he succeeds, he gets 10 points for Candy Crush or Fruit Ninjas or whatever, okay? So the next step, we want to outfit him with 6 units for his thighs, calves, and feet. He has once a week, 1 hour long therapy session on what's called a locomat, which is basically an exoskeleton that holds him over a treadmill and helps him walk in a perfect gait, in a correct gait. It can resist, assist, and measure every angle of his gait. So we'll put this on and we'll measure an ideal gait. Then we put it on. It's easy to put on. These are like hair bands came from Myers. And have a little tablet display. So when he's in his walker, with its springs in it now, let's say the physical therapist wants him to stretch his leg out, push his heel back, or pick his thigh up further. Across the display on his tablet says, hey, you can get 50 points if 3 of the next 5 gaits include both a stretched heel and a lift thigh. So he watches it, gets his points. Next time he gets to play, he's got extra points. By the way, I have $1 million app idea. Anybody can have it. Just call me out. That's it. Wouldn't this work? This is a great health app. You can't watch your text. You can't read your text messages unless you stand up and walk around the office. That'd be simple. That'd be simple.